I'm here at the Pit in WA. I'm here with Blair and Toby Smith. We're just going to have a catch up with the guys and just check out where they came from and what's headed for Toby in the future. How you going, guys?
Yeah, good love.
How you going?
First of all, I wanted to start with yourself. Can you let me know where you first started? Was it Muay Thai that you first started in? Or?
Yeah, I started fairly late. I started training when I was 20.
Yep.
And pretty much started fighting 3 months later. I had a loss and a bit of a break. Then after a year, went back and then never stopped. That was 27 years ago, still going.
Wow.
And yeah.
Yeah, so you were a fighter obviously first.
Yeah.
Then when did you change into then becoming a trainer?
I trained in a backyard shed called Sat Tianchai Gym that was basically a fighter's gym. After about 8 years with my trainer Jeff Devine, I opened my own gym and sort of floated between both gyms. My gym was also a backyard gym.
Yeah.
So I was a trainer / fighter for a few years.
Yeah.
And then, can't remember exactly. I had my last fight at 32.
Yep.
And that's when I became a full-time trainer at 32.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I do now, just train people full-time for a living.
Yeah, cool. And when did Toby get into?
Well, when I was about 7, that's when I started fighting.
Right. Yeah, cool.
Pretty young. Started fighting at 7, probably started mucking around when he was about 5.
Yeah. Had your first fight at 7?
Yeah, first fight at 7, so yeah.
Awesome. So when you then made the change into being a trainer, you were training full-time after you fought and had the gym full-time? Were you working as well?
Nah, I used to work full-time, but I had a good job. It was 4 days on, 4 days off.
Oh, good.
And I still only trained fighters in my back shed up until about 3 years ago.
Oh, okay.
The Pit was always just a fighters only gym with 10 to 15 boys max, and we just trained and fought hard. And then I ended up getting made redundant and opened a full-time gym.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
about
cool.
3 years ago.
And so now you do classes here as well as train fighters?
Teach all levels, kids, beginners, intermediates, and fighters.
Pure Muay Thai only?
No, this is a boxing and Muay Thai.
Yeah, cool.
So yeah, we got a boxing trainer and me and Toby teach the Muay Thai.
Yeah, right. So what year was it that you first had your first fight? Roughly?
90, I would have been 20. I'm 47 now, so...
Yeah, right, so in the early 90s.
90, 91, 92.
Yeah,
yep, cool.
Somewhere around there. Early 90s.
I don't do maths, I'm shit at it.
Yeah.
Well, he was born in 93, so it was
90.
It was at least 2 years before he was born.
Yeah.
When were you born?
Yeah, 93.
So but probably 90, 91.
Yeah, cool. So have you seen a big shift in the change in the industry between that time? Since the 90s to now?
I think the standard's better. We were a bit rough and raw back in the day, but we were like the pioneers of it.
Yeah, right.
But it's also gone a little bit... you know what I mean? The sports commission that have come in and taken control, which has made our job a bit harder to get our boys where we want. That especially the juniors are hindered now.
Yeah, right. What's the combat commission, the sports board over this side of the country? You know, what are their rules and regulations with the kids?
Well, basically now, if you're a junior, you can only fight juniors. The reason Toby, Roy, and other guys in Perth are so good is because they were as juniors fighting adults.
Yeah.
Like, say they were 14, 15, strong as, you could put them with a 20-year-old, no problem, because it's all about weight. But now that can't happen anymore.
Yeah.
So I've got guys that are like 15, 16 that should be fighting adults, but they're only fighting juniors, and they're actually floating between boxing and Muay Thai because they're just not getting enough Muay Thai fights because they're hindered by the new laws.
Yeah, because we found obviously in Queensland juniors can fight seniors, and you can find that because there are so many junior shows in Queensland, the juniors end up having 10, 15 fights when they're 14 and they can't even get any more fights.
I think you can't even fight in Perth now until you're 12. So back in the day, like Toby had his first fight at 7. Do you know what I mean? Those days are gone. Which you will see in 5 years' time. Queensland will again be #1. And WA will come down because of the laws. Yeah. Well,
I'm assuming the Combat Sports Board will end up in Queensland in the next couple of years anyway, so we'll end up with the same thing,
laws.
Have fun when that happens.
I know. None of us are looking forward to that. What about, is there anything that you can see happening besides this combat sports side of things in the industry that you'd like to see improved?
I believe that Muay Thai, after recent events, should follow suit as boxing and pro boxing. I think only pros should be allowed to weigh in 24 hours before, and amateurs should definitely be same day weigh-in and for some reason, when I was a fighter, we fought in weight divisions, like I fought in middleweight, anywhere between 70 and 72.5. But now everyone wants a catch weight. They're not even willing to give up 500 grams, which is ridiculous. So I'd like to see amateurs weigh in 2 hours before the event at their walk around weight in weight divisions.
Yeah, good one. Yeah.
I just don't, you know what I mean? There's been 3 deaths in the last 12 months.
That's it.
1 in Australia, 1 in England, and 1 in Thailand. So it's time for a change.
That's it for sure. What about you? What's your thoughts on the weight category?
Same thing, because the amateurs, they don't know how to cut their weight, they don't know their body's right, so they're trying to cut like 10 kilos and they've never done it before, then that's why these things happen.
And that's going to come down to also education of the trainer too, hey? Like, you know, they should be watching the fighters.
For sure, 100%.
Yeah, cool. And so for yourself, you had your first fight at 7. How many fights have you had now?
54.
54, awesome. And how old are you now?
24. So.
That's crazy.
There we go.
What would you say is one of the highlight fights for you in your career so far?
Probably the Super fight. That was because it was, everyone loved that fight. It was bloody and I don't know.
That's what the fans come for.
Everyone loved that fight. So I enjoyed it.
And when you were going into that fight, were you did you go in there knowing it was a massive fight, or just like any other fight?
Just like any other fight, nervous as hell. That's how I always am. But I get the job done, so that's all that matters.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
And do you guys do, like, for yourself and with your fighters before they train? Do you do a lot of like mental work with them, or is it more about the hard training and knowing that they can do it?
I'm not that good. I like train the boys really hard, and on the mental side of thing, I'm not as good as what. That's why I bring Nugget over, because he's good.
Oh, right.
He comes over and he's helped Toby a lot. Toby had mental issues. No, he basically had 18 months off fighting because of mental issues, but Nugget helped him a lot. But I'm just more of a push type of trainer. Get him physically ready, and guys like Nugget help Toby mentally prepare. But some guys don't need mental preparation. Like, I've got boys that are 100% confident. You go, you're going to win. They go, you know I'm going to win. You know, every fight is different. Some fighters need help, some fighters don't mentally. Every fight is different. But I'm basically, all I know is how to get fighters like strong and conditioned. So that's my job. That's what I'm good at. That's what I do.
Yeah, cool. And for yourself, when you're like when you're going into a fight, you're saying you get super nervous. Is that just more? Do you find that it helps you though to get the adrenaline going, or? Yeah,
but as I said 18 months ago, it was too much nerves, and I was still performing, but it just got to a point where I don't know, I had time off. But I've always been nervous before I fight, like always, ever since I started, like back when I was really
Which is
young.
no different to Nathan Corbett. He's exactly the same. He's really nervous before his fights.
But you just got to use your nerves to your advantage. So.
And I think when you're at top level like Nathan and Toby, there's all that pressure on you because everyone expects you to win. If you're a run-of-the-mill fighter and you win or lose, it's no big deal if you lose. But if you're a high-level fighter, like, you're expected to win. So it puts even more pressure on you.
Yeah, right.
That's what I believe anyway.
Is that how you feel as well? Like, you feel that pressure?
I don't know. That's just how I normally.
And what's your record now? So 53 fights for.
I think I've had 6 losses and 2 draws. So.
Jesus. No wonder there's so much pressure.
Exactly. And he's fought some and beaten big names like Tong Chai and Super Bond, John Wayne. When he fought Tong Chai, the odds were 15-1. You know, no one gave him a chance. And he beats guys like that. So that just adds to his pressure, you know, because. You know, and his name just keeps building up.
That's it. Because you would have gone over there and people overseas wouldn't have known, well, especially in Thailand, probably were not aware of your abilities. Just shot them all and go.
That's it.
Basically.
Is there any one that you've got your eye on that you want to fight coming up?
I don't know. Who have we got? We got Vitaly Gurkov.
Mate, nothing's actually locked in. The only fight that's 100% locked in, he's got 5 booked in for next year, but Brad Riddell, is it, from New Zealand?
Riddell,
That's in November. That's 100% locked in.
Cool.
He's got all those dates on the board locked in, but he's unmatched so far. There's talks with Vitaly Gurkov from Belarus coming to Perth on June 2nd. We tried for Jake Lund, but they didn't want to come to the party, so we're going for Vitaly Gurkov.
Okay. So cool. So have you fought in a couple of tournaments too, like 4-man, 8-man?
No, I've only fought in 1 8-man, the one in Queensland 5 years ago or something. That's the only one I've ever done.
How did you find that, having how many fights did you end up having? 3?
3 in one night, But got a bit banged up, but it was all right.
Yeah.
Got through it, so
Yeah, you can't really feel it after a while, and
Yeah,
you
yeah.
just keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
It was all right.
Do you want to let us know about some of the other fighters you've got here? So you've got quite a few champions from your gym.
Yeah, I've had like plenty over the years, but a few have finished up. But I've still got Toby and Roy. They're my number 1 and 2 that are actually both of them been with me since I was 5 years old. So
Yeah, right.
next year they'll be their 20th year with me, and they're still only young at 25, which is
Yeah.
pretty amazing. I don't think there's too many trainers in Perth that have had guys fight for them for 20 years, and they're only 25 years old.
Exactly.
So basically, they've done what Ty's have done.
Yeah.
And then I just got a handful of up-and-comers coming through at the moment. But yeah, they're all looking strong going
Yeah,
forward.
good. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
And you guys do a lot of training over in Thailand. Obviously, you go training.
Not as much as we used to.
Yeah, right. So you used to do.
We used to go there all the time, but now we don't go there as much.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if we go there now, it's more for a holiday.
Yeah.
I still send guys there, and they all come back saying the training's better here.
Yeah.
And they basically say they wasted their time and money.
Yeah.
So
Training's just as good here. The trainers are just as good. Everyone, I don't know.
That's it. Yeah.
we've been
I
doing it
reckon.
for as long as Thais, and we do it because we do it for the passion. But to the Thais, it's like bricklaying.
Yeah.
It's like their job. They're like just over it. They're like, you know what
Whatever.
I mean?
Yeah.
And a lot of gyms in Thailand are just money orientated now.
Yeah.
So they're
Yeah.
doing it for different reasons now.
Yeah. And do you find that we fight over here, I guess, a lot different style to a Thai
Complete.
anyway? So if you're not
100%.
going to fight a Thai, it's going to be a different style that you need to have here.
Yeah, when we fight Thais, we still try and fight them the same as we fight here,
Yeah.
because they're not used to that
Yeah.
style. I try and tell my fighters, don't fight Thai style because you'll get out skilled and beaten.
Yeah.
Fight our style and you'll overwhelm them because they're not used to it.
Yeah.
Not many Thais are used to going hard 5 rounds.
Exactly, yeah.
They've had 200 fights at tip-tapping for 3 rounds and only put
Yeah.
two hard rounds in. So,
Yeah.
if you know what I mean, just
That's
get
it.
in their face and go for it.
Yeah, good
And
one.
see what happens.
Yeah, cool. That's actually really good advice. But other than that sort of advice, is there anything that you do tell any fighters that come into your gym that say, look, I want to fight? What's your first bit of advice for someone that does want to do that?
Even if a guy walks in off the street and doesn't even want to start the beginnings, I just give him a run with the fighters so we can get through his 3 hours of training a day
Yeah.
and stick to it. Then good on him. But I tell him the hardest thing for him is the first month.
Yeah.
Get through that first month and you're right. So
Yeah.
some make it, some don't.
Yeah, yeah.
But most guys start in the beginners, intermediates, work their way
Oh,
up.
good. So you've got a little
Yeah,
structure for them.
that's for the average guy. And most guys who walk in the gym are not 100% if they want to fight. Only now and then you get a young kid walk in, goes, I want to fight.
Yeah.
So I chuck them straight into fighters.
Yeah.
But most guys work their way up the ranks.
Yeah, yeah.
Start off slowly, build up.
Yeah, cool. Excellent. And also wanted to just chat with you a little bit too. With your fight with Wayne when you fought down that was in Melbourne, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
How
on
did that
power
feel
play, yeah.
when you got the win?
Oh, pretty good, eh? Because
Yeah.
that fight was like the biggest fight in Australia for a long time anyway. So once I got the win, I felt like, fuck, it's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, yeah.
And were you, again, I know you said you were always nervous before fights. Did you go into that fight with anything kind of a bit different because knowing it was such a talked about fight in Australia?
Oh, just similar, same as
Same.
every fight, yeah.
Yeah, that's good. You stick to
I
your
was alright.
roots.
What do you reckon? Where was I? I can't even remember. I was alright.
No, he was good for that fight.
Yeah.
We were quietly confident all the way through.
Yeah,
yeah.
oh, that's good.
Toby was on the rise. Wayne was coming to an end, because of his age and that. So it was about time. He kept winning back then, but it was only a matter of time before someone like Toby come along and knocked him off his perch. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
We were quietly confident.
yeah,
He was over here running a gym, got a family. Toby back then was living in Thailand.
Yeah.
Had no other pressures except
Yeah,
just train,
right.
fight.
Fight, yeah.
But Wayne's in a different situation
Yeah.
and a different age as well. So
Yeah.
we were quietly confident
Yeah.
all the way through.
So you're living back here in Australia now,
Yeah.
full
Yeah,
time. Yeah,
full
cool.
time now, yeah.
Yeah, awesome. And so you've got 5 fights, hopefully lined up for 5 for next year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Five.
he's got 5 booked
Yeah.
in for
5
next
booked in,
year.
yeah, cool. That's going to keep you pretty busy, which is
Yeah, that would be good
which is
for me.
We'll probably just keep him at 5 for the next few years. He'll just fight
Yeah.
that much from now on because he's done the hard yards and
Yeah.
fought his ass off in his younger years.
Yeah.
Now he'll just fight 5 times a year.
Yeah, and I think that's a good
Yeah.
amount
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
You know, to have recovery and
Yeah.
Don't burn out as much.
Exactly,
Fighting
yeah.
all the time, every month, whatever. So
yeah.
it'd be
Do
good.
you work as well as train, or do you?
I
is this
just do
full-time?
help Dad with the gym and
Yeah,
personal
cool.
train people as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so
Just does classes and
Just-
PTs.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
little as I
So,
can.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
The fight life.
Yeah, that's it.
We all hate work. We love Muay Thai.
Yeah. So people always used to assume that I was a trainer as well, and I'm like, hell no. I was like, I find it hard enough to motivate myself than have to get up early and motivate someone else.
Exactly.
So what area are we in here? This is
Canning Vale,
Canning Vale, right. So if anyone wants to drop in and come do a class or a PT with you, how do they get in touch with you guys?
They can just contact us on Facebook or on our website.
Yeah, cool.
So,
yeah, awesome. Excellent. And is there anything else you want to kind of cover? Like, is there anything coming up for the gym or for your fighters or yourself?
We're sort of just winding down for Christmas, and then next year we're looking at having a huge year. So hopefully, everything goes to plan. We have a big year next year.
Yep, and just so the promoters know out there, especially around the rest of Australia, what fighters do you have available?
I've got 20 fighters ready to go, especially my juniors. If you're in a state like Queensland, they can fight adults. Or shoot me a message, because I've got a handful of juniors ready to go. Yep. Like I said, they're doing boxing because they're that bored. Yep. So they're fighting Muay Thai 2 to 5 times a year, and boxing 2 to 5 times a year.
Yeah, right.
Just to keep busy.
Yeah, cool.
Because of the new laws. Like I got one boy, he's walks around at 80 kilos, he's 17. He's had a dozen fights, but there's no juniors that size. So he'll be 18 next year, which is good. But there's a lot of kids like that just basically going stagnant because of opportunity.
That's it, yeah.
Lack of opportunity.
Do something else, and we lose them, which sucks.
Yeah,
right, cool. All right, well, thanks very much for your time.
No worries.
Talk to you guys later.
Thank you. See you guys.